Welcome back to Mentored, business mentorship in real time. Hi, Alyssa.
Hello, Willows. Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome back. What do you need mentorship today for with?
All right. So first, I want to do a little reenactment. Okay, it's kind of fun.
Okay.
So, pretend you're someone who works at the bank.
Hello and welcome to the bank.
So I sit down, right?
Yeah.
I need money fast.
What's that J.G. Wentworth? It's my money and I want it now.
Me.
What are you talking about?
Did you hear? All right. So what are some good ways to get funding?
For your business.
Yeah, duh.
Okay. What are
That's
some
what this
good
is
ways
about.
to get funding for your business? I think
Because it didn't work for me. I wanted.
I think like I have done every which way of funding.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why you're asking me.
That is
I
right.
see.
You
I
are
see,
the
I see.
man. You are the man
To stretch debt as far as
as
possible.
humanly
Yeah.
numbers on a screen.
Yeah. So
Um,
okay, I'll just start rolling into it.
yeah, let's go for
So
it.
I started my first business with a $25 investment, and we grew that to millions of dollars a year. But we had no money. I was 18 at the time, no assets, no job, no credit history, no business experience.
Do you know like Pride and Prejudice?
Okay,
Do you know it?
yeah,
Where it's like no prospects, no, what is it? No bitches. Fuck, I gotta look it up.
okay. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen.
Please do. People will think it's funny.
Anyway, I had nothing, so we had to get pretty creative with funding. So I think first and foremost, what I think a lot of well, kind of start. I'll start like simplest and go to most complicated. Simplest, I think, which is like what a lot of people do, which what I did at the beginning and what you did at the beginning,
Hmm.
is just kind of put in almost nothing and just work your ass off to get, you know, spend $25 to make $100, spend that $100 to make $200, spend that $200 to make $400, spend the $400 to make $1,000, and keep going from there.
Yeah.
That's kind of the traditional.
What if I need more?
That's kind of the traditional pre-internet company way of doing it. Now it's
Yeah.
just like get a bunch of VC debt and whatever, which we can go into. But that used to be how it did. Like get a little bit of seed money and then just make more than it costs to buy the things, right? Um, Another way that a lot of entrepreneurs that I know get into it is just credit card debt or line of credit, something that you have personally. You won't be able to get business credit right at the beginning, but just something that you have personally, you can just pull out and take $5,000 off a line of credit and put it towards your business. Another good friend of mine remortgages his house, right? A little bit older than me, 15 years older than me, so has a house with a mortgage either paid down or mostly paid down. Took out a little bit of 100 grand on the mortgage or whatever and banks love to do that
Okay,
because
sure.
they will do that so easily, refinance your mortgage, because they can usually do it at a higher interest rate than you have right now. And if you don't pay them, they can take the house. And houses are the easiest things for them to sell in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
They don't want your weird niche manufacturing equipment. They want your house. So
I mean, especially now, yeah.
but I speak to a lot of young entrepreneurs and millennial and Gen Z entrepreneurs, and obviously you don't just have a house with a bunch of equity that you can put up for the
Unfortunately,
most
yeah.
part. So, unfortunately, like I'm not in the camp of the Dave Ramsey, like no debt at all. I think that's very useful. I think that's important to build a business. So I'm not opposed to taking out a $5,000 credit, or even if it's more than that, $100,000. Like if you have an idea and that's how much money it's going to take, you know, consumer debt is bad, but business debt is not bad. Business debt is just a tool to get your business, like if you're gonna, every dollar that you take for your business should be making $5+. Like most businesses have pretty good margins for that kind of stuff. So that's how our mentality was. It's like every dollar we take out of debt, I can make $20. Easy math there, right? So another way, if you don't want to or can't take the debt, another common way of people is equity financing, where you would sell part of the company to people for money. So money partners is something you may have heard before. So that's like, okay, I'll sell you 10% of my company for $100,000 or whatever. That means the company's worth $1 million. You see this on Shark Tank and Dragon's Den.
My two favorite YouTube channels.
And so that's a way to raise money without having any debt, because now they own part of the company, but you don't have to pick, right? They bought something for their money. They bought the shares of your company. So it's not like taking a loan from the bank where now, okay, I got to pay them $3,000 a month for the next 5 years to pay off the $100,000. You just get the $100,000 and you can use it however you want. But now when the company succeeds and starts making a profit, now you're getting 10% less profit or 25% less profit or whatever the agreement was. And then I've also, from firsthand experience, I've never sold any of my companies. I've always owned 100% of them with my business partner. But I am acquainted with and have worked with people that have like money partners, and some of them have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 money partners. And sometimes if they're not making enough money, you start having them pull strings. I won't get too many details because it'll dox them, but
too local.
They make a product and say there's 100 of the product ready in a month. The money partners will just come in and take 30 of them right off the top. Because they're like, we're not getting paid enough, so we need these.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff happens.
Yes.
So be careful with that, because if you sell too much of your company, then you're limited on the upside. Because say they put in $100,000, and now your company makes $100,000 every second. Now you've just given away 25% of that for no reason. So if you can get farther on debt than equity, I always recommend that for young entrepreneurs. And then also you have to be worried about getting outvoted, or if you have more partners that could outvote you or whatever. So anyway, but that's another way to do it is equity financing. Another big one that I always tell, especially young people, to look into is government grants and funding. The government of Canada has a ton, and I'm sure the government of the United States does as well, but I would check your local jurisdiction. Ton of grants for everything that's not me. So if you're not white and not a man, there's a ton of money out there. Woe is me. No, but there's a lot of minority grants. There's a lot of women in business grants. There's a lot of, I think there's sexual orientation ones. So there, any oppressed class, there's money out there for you. There's loans, which you would take from the government and you have to pay back, and then a grant means you don't have to pay it back. It's free money from the government.
Right.
Now, as a white male, even I've gotten a bunch of grants over the last 10 years. We're talking tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars if you add them all up. $4,000 here, $10,000 here, kind of thing. There's a lot of grants for the manufacturing sector. There's also grants for the farming sector, which we qualify for with the vineyard and everything. Basically, in every country, even every smaller state or province, will probably be different, because each country's and region's priorities are a little bit different, right? So if there's a country that's we have all this copper and we really need these copper miners, but no one wants to be a copper miner, all of a sudden they're going to start putting money into copper mining, and they're okay, become a copper miner, we'll give you a bunch of money. So you can probably use ChatGPT or Grok or whatever to ask, hey, what are some grants in different industries that I would qualify for, and just describe yourself and see what they can do.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of money out there for stuff like that. And then there's some sketchier ways, something we did very early on. Now you have to have a working business for this to work. It has to be bringing in cash flow. But we used to do PO factoring, purchase order factoring, which a company will buy your purchase order from you for like 70% of the value.
All right.
So we did this in like 2017, 2018, right when we were brand new. We got orders from the government liquor store, but it could be, name a place. It could be a grocery store you're selling to. It could be just whoever's buying from you. They issue you what's called a purchase order, which is a contract. It's a legally binding piece of paper that says, I want this amount of things for this amount of money, and you're going to deliver it on this date, and it's a contract. And then you deliver it. And most of these purchase orders, especially from big companies or from governments, are going to be net terms, they call it. So if it's net 30, that means they have to pay you after 30 days. Net 60 days. Net 90 days. Those are the most common, usually 30 or 60. But I've seen as high as net 120 from government, where it's like 6 months before they're paying you. It's, yeah.
That's so crazy.
So a purchase order factoring company, what you can do is you take your purchase order to them, and they'll give you, like, say the purchase order is for $10,000, they'll give you $7,000 now today. And then you assign the purchase order to them, so when you get paid from the supplier, it goes right to their bank account instead of yours.
Interesting.
And then why it's sketchy is because it's not a loan, it's not interest. They're buying something from you, right? But so when you start doing the math of like, $3,000 on 10 grand in 30 days, that's 30% interest in 30 days. So then you multiply that by 12 to get for the annualized, so that's like 400% interest that you're paying.
Insane.
But it's the same idea as the payday loans, where they can get away with it because it's a fee. It's not actually interest, because in like Canada and the United States, you're actually not allowed to charge more than like, I think it's 40% interest annualized on anything. It's just, that's a law. There's like usury laws, they call it. But this isn't. So it's like technically you're paying, 400% interest or whatever.
Oh,
but we had to use we didn't have enough money we couldn't wait the 30 days.
That's how they get you, though.
Yeah. So, and then you get,
that's funding.
yeah, it's funding. And then with that, we used other sketchy companies that was like, you'd pay them, it was like a payday loan where you paid them back daily. So there's like, whatever it is, $38 comes out of your bank every single day until you pay it all back. And then what they would do is after like 45 days, they'd be like, oh, do you want to top up? You can just get all the money back that you've paid, and then it just extends it. So you're just like in an internal debt that you can never get ahead of.
Gosh.
Yeah. And then that's how a lot of companies, well, it's like, I'll watch the occasional clip of like Caleb Hammer or like whatever, and you see the people on there that are like half their paychecks gone to payday loans immediately.
Yeah.
And then they're using other payday loans to pay payday loans because they like, and it's just like you can never get ahead of it.
Oh my gosh.
But the company who's doing it, it's like a high risk loan. That's why it's like, so it's such high interest. But it's like they've already been paid back 10 times over by the time you actually go bankrupt. So it's like, yeah.
So it's just like buy now, pay later for businesses.
Basically. And this was like 10 years ago I was
Crazy.
doing this. So this was like before this was kind of
Been
popularized.
around forever.
Yeah, but I like that, the buy now, pay now for businesses.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some sketchy ways as well.
Klarna business.
Klarna business. Now we're fucking talking. And then I'm trying to think of like other ways of funding. Like you can do something we did one time. It's basically like doing a second mortgage type situation, but you can use any of your assets. So it's like I think it's just a secured loan. Because I think it's like a mortgage backed loan. So it's just like an equipment backed loan. So we like one of our pieces of wine equipment, we had it I was going to say notarized. What do you call it? Appraised. And then you send the appraisal to the company, and then it's like, okay, we'll loan you 80% of that. But we own the piece of equipment now, basically. It's like
Yeah, I guess
they
so,
put a
yeah.
lien on it.
Right.
That's like if you don't pay them, they can take it. So
That's dangerous.
yeah, but it's like, but they're, if you went in and say, hey, can I have a loan for 10 grand? They'd say no. But you say, oh, hey, can I have a loan for 10 grand? I have this thing worth 15. Then they say yes. So it's like it's a way of getting credit without being as qualified for credit if you have like an asset that you can put up. So that's something we've done as well in the past. And then my favorite, which is like not working as well lately, but it has worked in the past, is just begging your friends and family for money. um,
Dang, that one's. I gotta save those.
because we used to we had two different friends who we were basically just always owed money to. We would just like take, you know, $5,000 loans from them and then pay them back 3 months later, and then we just like from the next time we just did, and with a little bit of interest to make it like worth their time. And these are like people that are like, they believed in us, so they knew like if we ever went out of business, and I told them this too. It's like if we ever go out of business, those banks, good luck getting your fucking money back. Like early on, like now, I don't. If you're watching this, lenders, we're solvent now. I'm talking 10 years ago. Good luck getting your money out of this thing. But I'm like, these are my friends. Like, I'll pay you. Like, you're
right. You're good.
You know, like,
That's
I know
a
the
good
bank
faith
has a
loan.
piece of paper that says they're in first line when we get liquidated, but good, I'll just fucking take the money out of the bank and give it to you. What are you going to do? Like, you know, so I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm trying to think. That's basically,
Yeah, I mean that's.
I think, yeah, that's all the ways I can think of. What's up, man? Does
That
that,
was no, that was better than my conversation with the fake banker.
okay.
I don't think I have another. Yeah,
Okay,
I think
well,
I'm just gonna try to make more money, if anything. And thanks for listening.
and thanks for listening to another episode of Mentored. Listen on Spotify if you want. Listen on YouTube if you want. And we also launch these podcasts early before they go live everywhere else on x.com/drunkdividends. That's the media company that owns the podcast, that I also own the media company. So it's not like we're owned by a big conglomerate. It's all part of the same company. So
Not yet.
not yet. So go check that out if you want an episode early and bonus content. And then we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much.